All of the world is in due course. I operate for 400 hours, please. Course. You will meet them. Matt, they will certainly want to meet you. The whole purpose of the Nexus, the reason that it exists, is to help you with what you have to do. What do I have to do? Matt asked. You're talking about stuff that happened thousands of years ago. Why are you telling me this now? I'm about to explain, but it isn't easy. I can't understand how hard it must be for you to take all this on board. Professor Deverill finished his water while he collected his thoughts. There are some who believe that a great organization exists on the planet before Greek Empire of 600 BC, even before the Egyptians, who had flourished 2,000 years early. I'm talking about the time Atlantis, perhaps as long ago as 10,000 years. In a way, I suppose I'm talking about the beginning of the world as we know it today. But this first citizen was destroyed, slowly and deliberately. Creatures of unimaginable power and evil arrived in the world. They were called the Old Ones. And their only desire was to see a pain and misery all around them. The Christian Church talks about Satan, Lucifer, and all the other devils, but those are just memories of a great original evil. The Old Ones, they thrived on chaos. Once they had gained a foothold on the planet, they started a war, torturing, killing, spreading mass destruction everywhere. They went. That was their only pleasure. If they had their way, they would have reduced the whole world to an empty swamp. But according to the stories, there was a miracle, and it arrived in the shape of five young people, four boys and a girl. Nobody knows where they come from. They have no names. They have never been described, but together they organized the resistance against the Old Ones. What was left of humanity joined together behind the five, and three was a single final battle, in which the further of the world would be decided. The five children won that battle. The Old Ones were examples sent to another dimension, and a barrier, a magical gate, was built to make sure they could never come back. This gate took the form of a stone circle, and later on it come to be known as Raven's Gate. Wait a minute, Richard cut it. You said Raven's Gate was destroyed because it was evil. I said it was destroyed because the people thought it was evil. The professor corrected him. They were mistaken. They give it a name, Raven's Gate, because the raven has always been associated with death. They had a memory that connected the stones with something horrible. But after all the years that had passed, they had forgotten what it was, and in the end they come to think that it was the stones themselves that were evil. They tore them down, so the gate was destroyed. Matt exclaimed. Professor David shook his head. The stones were destroyed, not the gate, he said. How can I explain it to you? It's like an idea. If you write something down on a sheet of paper and then burn the paper, do you burn the idea? Of course not. The stones are gone, but the gate is still in place. Richard signed, let me get this straight, Professor. He said, a very long time ago, the world ruled by evil creatures called the Old Ones. However, 5 kids appeared and threw them out. Those kids then built a barrier which come to be known as Raven's Gate. Unfortunately, the stones that marked the gate were knocked down by medieval presents who didn't know any better, but it doesn't matter that much because the gate's still there. After all, it is that about it. Your Skarskin does you no credit. Does you credit, Mr. Cole? Do I have a reply, but you have summed up what I said more or less. Accordingly, Miss Ashwood know about this. Matt said, yes, I explained to you. We share our knowledge. We have sworn not to reveal it. That's why she couldn't tell you anything when you meet. But you've told us what Matt went on. You said that the main reason for the Nexus was to help me with something I've got to do, but I'm still not clear what that is or what any of this has got to do with me. I think you know. No, Matt looked at him. Matt looked at him in his eyes. You're wrong. Then you must meet the Nexus where the members are. The other members are on their way back to London. They will be here tomorrow night. I'll after you until then. Forget it, Richard said. We've got their return tickets. We're going back to York this evening. That's the last thing you must do. It's visital. You don't go anywhere near Lesser Malik. He turned again to Matt. I don't want to frighten you anymore when you have been already, but I believe you are in terrible danger. Why? I've told you why Ravensgate was built. It was a barrier between two worlds, and it was closed and locked. But for many centuries, there have been many people who have been trying to open it again. Of course, they haven't found it easier. They've had to develop special knowledge, special powers. You mean magic, Matt said. Who are just 2 days away from the start of Rhodamus. Driven said it began at sunset on the 20th of April. It is one of the most important days in the Witcher's calendar. A day when dark powers are at their strongest, when Black Sabbath is as celebrated and evil as its way. This several matter began. I have absolutely no doubt that she and the other villagers of Lesser Malling are involved in some sort of black magic, of course. You will sneer, Mr. Cole, but black magic is still practiced today all over the world. Yorkshire has a long history of witchcraft and all throughout the witches of medieval times are gone. Their distance live on. Their distance live on. I hope I get 400 watch time hours on my videos. Subscribe, hit the bell, share, like. Watch my other videos. Thank you.